Hello everyone, myself Nikhil Patil. I am introduced the topic of cost relationship in long run. A long period is the period in which the producer can make the requirement changes in each factor of production. In long period, due to the longer time duration, any form of the can change all the factor of production methods and scale of production. There are the two components in the long run total cost of production, variable cost and fixed cost. As we know that fixed cost does not change with the output level of depends on its firm structure. In case of small structure that attract the capacity at lower level of output, fixed cost will be less capacity at the lower level of output. But in the case of large structure, fixed cost comes out the large at compared to the short run. Variable cost follows the law of variable proportion in short run and thus become an inverted in the shape curve. There are the three short run total cost curve in the figure of 3.26 that are the short curve and short curve of second, and a smaller plant size is represented by the short term curve, that is basically a small structure. Similarly, related to larger plant size is the represent of this curve, which is a comparatively smaller as compared to short run total cost curve A. Producer has to choose any of this plant in the short run corresponding of short run total cost curve. Thereafter, the point of long run average cost. Long term average cost is calculated by the dividing a total cost by the unit of the production. Long run average cost curve explain the minimum long run average cost at various quantity of production. In other words, the curve formed by the touching various short term average cost curve for producing are known as long run average cost curve. It may be explained by the diagram also. In this diagram, long run average cost has been shown. Long run average cost curve is a short term has an average cost curve. Short term average cost first and short term average cost second and third short term average cost has been shown. It show remember that best plant at different production level like short term average cost curve plant OQ, short term average cost curve 2 to show the best quantity of OQ1, and short term average cost curve 3 show the production quantity of OQ2. It curve draw by joining these various curve each other by long run average cost curve will be formed. The characteristic of long term average cost curve explained by this diagram. And then after the long run marginal cost curve. Long run marginal cost curve is also called as a U shape. In this long term difference between fixed cost and variable cost comes to end. All costs become the variable and total variable cost and total cost become equal. Hence, in the long run marginal cost curve can be expressed as defined in the term of variable cost. The total cost in the long term due to the production of one additional unit is known as a long run marginal cost. Long run marginal cost and long term average cost have the same relationship between which the short term marginal cost and short term average cost. It is clear that the diagram shows the long run average cost false, then long run marginal cost less than. At the point of P, long run average cost curve and small marginal cost become the equal. Therefore, long run average cost is increasing, then the long run marginal cost remain the higher than that. In this diagram, short run average cost curve and short term marginal cost are term used to the cost curve and short term marginal cost curve. Respectively, that is the clear that at the point of time, long run average cost curve equals to long run marginal cost curve equals to short term marginal cost equals to short term average cost. In this explain the diagram. There are the various factors that can be I am explaining. Long term first of them, long term average cost curve is the involve all the short term average cost curve. That is the long run average cost curve is known as the envelope curve because it envelope or support a family of short term average cost curve from below. Second point, long run average cost curve is always less than a short run average cost curve. That is why all short run average cost curve are located above the long run average cost. Point third, long run average cost curve indicate the minimum cost of production and optimum size of the firm. Law of constant return. Fourth point, long run average cost curve only touch the short run average cost curve and does not cut them. They do not have the cut. Point 5, long run average cost curve is also U-shaped like a smaller run average cost curve, but long run average cost curve is a flatter as compared to the short run average cost curve. Point 6, long run average cost curve does not touch all short run average cost curve at the lowest point. Then after the long run average cost curve touches the small small average cost curve, it is the lowest point, that is the own lowest point till the lowest cost curve falls. It touches the falling point of short run average cost curve, and then when the long run average cost curve rises upward, then it touches the rising point of short run average cost curve. This is the main question arise to why long run average cost curve U-shape. There is a mainly two reasons. In the short run average cost curve U-shaped because the law of return operate, but in the long run is also U-shaped because the law of return to scale operate, namely the law of increasing return to scale, the law of constant return to scale, and the law of diminishing return to scale. This main reason. Then point second, the long run average cost curve U-shaped because the how average cost initially decreases due to the economies of scale, while the firm experiences increasing return to scale, then the exhibit constant return to the firm operate at the optimal size. Thank you.